How's about that for a middle of winter? Absolutely beautiful common. We're here at Steeple Fisheries with Total Carp. And it is, like I said, middle of winter. It's like holding a block of ice, but this is number 3 for me, 18 pounds, not the biggest of the day, but we're still getting bites. We haven't gone on to maggots. We're still getting them on boilies. So let's take a look at exactly what I'm doing. So the rig that I'm using today to catch these fish, unfortunately it's not revolutionary, it's ever so simple, which most of my fishing is, to be fair. We're fishing over to the far side, we need it to be tangle proof, we need it to be strong, but also we need it to be super simple, because all we're doing is fishing a 12mm wafter over 10mm freebies. And that is my simple, pretty much take it anywhere. 90% of my carp fishing is done on this rig, blowback wafter rig on a simple leg clip system. I've got a 12mm diamond white trapped by the hair on a little bit of silicone, just so that the hair exits the hook somewhere between the point and the barb. I'm not really too fussed, but I don't want it to be a KD kind of rig. I want it to come out of the shank of the hook a little bit further down. That's a size 6 curve shank there with 15-pound end trap soft, and I've probably got 5, maybe 6 or 7mm stripped back behind the eye. I like a little bit of flexibility there, but not too much. Got a little anti-tangle rig sleeve, hybrid leg clip, 2.5 ounce flat pair lead, and simply it's fish naked and about, I don't know, 15, 18 inches above that, I've got a tiny little blob of putty just to keep that critical zone, because we are fishing quite tight over there, down so that they can mosey around, pick up a few freebies, get a bit of confidence, and then nail that bad boy. Simple. So the swim that we're fishing, we are faced with quite a lot of rushes on the far side, and actually there's probably 3 or 4 foot of water there, and those rushes throughout the winter will give the carp an awful lot of warmth, and so they'll be packed in there. However, I don't want to go too close because it's quite easy for the fish to pick up the bait and then just wrap themselves around. Can't brag about lost fish. So I'm trying to draw them out with the 10mm. I'm giving the 10mm quite a lot of coating of goodness to try and make the water just taste really super nice as well. One thing I do an awful lot when I'm fishing to either an island or a far bank, when I'm fishing tight and the fish aren't actually going to take any line on the take, I'm basically fishing locked up, I'm expecting them to either kite or just come back towards me, is I keep the rod in the clip just to make sure that I'm maximising these short daylight hours. So what I do is I stick my little distance stick in the swim, or I normally just actually draw a line in the sand, but where it's super muddy, I find that where you draw a line in the sand, what happens is you walk over that line several times, you work out or you lose where you cast from, and then next thing you know you're in the rushes. So stick a distance stick in the swim, so this is where I'm casting to, hitting the clip every single time on the dance floor, and then all I do is I walk forward towards my pod, get in a couple of yards of line on just on the spool, and that's it. Super simple, super accurate, make the most of your time on the bank. Lower it in, bosh. And there's quite a steep shelf on that far side. It goes down to about 10 foot super quick. So if I hit the clip and I feel a drop that's slightly too long, I know that I've come back or I've hit the clip a little bit too hard and I've swung back a little bit too far. I want to be right on the line of those rushes, which is almost right on the line of the sort of 3 or 4 foot depth. And that's where I think if they come out in this sunshine that we get for 2 or 3 hour window in these winter days, I think that's where they're more likely to be. So, yeah. Now, a lot of people in the winter are scared of putting bait in, and I get it. You know, solid bags, single hook baits, zigs, brilliant wintertime methods. But if you can find them, if you know you're on them, then quite frankly, tricking in something little and often, quite often, certainly on venues where you've got a few fish, can get you a couple of bites. Now, I'm not really putting this in too tight. I know these fish are moving around these rushes. I really just want something to stop them in their tracks. That's why I've put all this lovely stick mix liquid on, because if they swim over the top of it, I want them to sort of almost taste the water, just to give them an idea of something's there. And then obviously I want my hook bait, which is gooed up to the hilt, soaked up in everything that I want, to be the cherry on the cake. So hopefully that's the first thing they come into contact with and they snuffle it straight away. But that's all you need. 10, 15 every now and again, whether it's a catapult or just walking around and just sticking it in by hand. Every hour, maybe 90 minutes, genuinely, can get your bites. Don't be afraid to put a little bit of bait in through the winter, because carp will still eat it. Hopefully they'll eat that. You know when you instantly lift the rod up and it just feels like it's got a bit more weight? But that is so uncanny. You know, like we've sat here for what, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours without a bite. You put a fresh bit of glug on your 10 millers, you go around there, put 20 on the spot, and we can't have been back here more than 5 minutes and it's gone off. Where a lot of people are just whazz a bag over there or a single hook bait because somewhere in the past they read that carp don't feed in the winter. Well, they do if you give it to them. Over you come, no, yeah. Smidging over 23 pound, which will absolutely do on a day like this. Well, how's about that for a wonderful way to cap the day? It was already a good day, to be fair, with, stay still darling, 3 commons up to 21 pound, but this is a smidging over 23, and it, I guess, is proof in the pudding that giving them a little bit of bait, not too much, but a little bit of bait, even at this time of year, really can bring a few bites, because we was in a sort of maybe 2-hour dry spell, wandered around there, flicked a few more 10 millers over the spot, and 5 minutes later this rocked off. Absolutely stunning. Well, it don't matter what you've done in your life, where you've been, what you caught, on a cold winter's day, you've got to be happy with that. Thank you, darling. Little kissy. I'm going home to Mrs. Macey for a coffee and some digestives. Oh yes. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.